Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of everything to do with Disney travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bella Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bella Braddock. And today, there's ways to give your wedding a villainous touch, as well as some new decor and wardrobe ideas for dining at 1900 Park Fair.
Yes, we've been talking about a couple of these topics over time recently, and finally, as you know, 1900 Park Fair, at long last, is reopening at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. What an iconic restaurant, always one of our favorites. We love the resort, as you know, and this restaurant there has always been a top pick. However,
I've been waiting for this. It's been closed for...
I'm not happy with what they're doing. So first we'll talk about what they're doing, and then let's talk about how to style your wardrobe, especially if you have little ones. So first of all, it's reopening on April 10th, and there are some big changes. First of all, or second of all, because I said first of all for the reopening, the interior was, I noticed the last time we went, which was just before COVID, it was sort of dated and tired, sort of like Bay Lake Tower is right now as it's getting a makeover. So that, I agree, was much needed.
It was more the vibe of the rooms of the Grand Floridian before they were renovated.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And they are sort of lumping this in with the lobby renos and all the other work that's going on, even though it started before that stuff. The restaurant will be open for breakfast and dinner. With buffet dining at both. It will be the same experience for both, except for the food, of course, and that is different. So I will miss the characters, and that's what most of the beefing is about. It was so good before because it was sort of two separate character dining experiences. One was breakfast, one was dinner, as you know. Now it's the same characters at both. And who are those characters?
So, tied together with the theme of wishing, Disney has paired Aladdin in his Prince Ali look, Cinderella, Mirabelle, and Tiana in her new look for Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
You know, it's funny. They specify Ali's and Tiana's looks, but they don't tell us which Cinderella. Are we just assuming it's the ball gown?
It's the ball gown.
And not the cleanup gown? Or not gown, the cleanup dress.
I would be rather shocked if Cinderella showed up in her apron and non-floor length dress to this dinner. I would be surprised.
So, you know, with those four characters, it's pretty obvious they tried to take four characters that are sort of like a cross-section of a whole bunch of things to make this inclusive dining experience for everyone, which is fine. It's just not as sort of cool for me as it would have. I would have rather them gone all in with something than do this. But, you know, they used wishing as a loose tie-in, let's say.
I do see it. I think what they're doing is they're drawing a younger audience with somewhat more recent films. Well, the tie-in of Mirabelle is definitely to draw in more of that younger crowd, get more kids to dine there possibly. But I don't know if it necessarily fits with the overall vibe of the hotel.
It does not.
Which is what I'm saying, because Cinderella fit with more of like, even though it came in the 50s, it was still more of that like Victorian, more palace-esque vibe, whereas some of this is a little bit different. The Prince Ali look, I think that could fit. Tiana in her princess dress, I get.
Well, obviously, new ride, new attraction coming, so they've got her.
I just don't really see how Mirabelle fits into this, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the other two I see. I am excited, though, because I think a new generation of kids will start to see this, and they'll sort of associate this with the vibe of the restaurant, even though it's not necessarily the pictures that I have from when I was 3.
And at least from a style perspective, I like the sounds of what they're doing. So Big Bertha, if you're a longtime fan of the hotel or the restaurant, you remember this organ used to be in the lobby. They've kept it on site. They managed to keep it there over the years. So that is now sort of the centerpiece of the new layout of the restaurant. And then there's new murals, and they have drawings of carousel animals, which is, I don't know, sort of Mary Poppins. I just don't, it seems a bit odd, although there are a lot of horses at the Grand Floridian. So it's kind of a mishmash of stuff. And even the artwork is Alice and the Little Mermaid. You know, I don't know. Again,
I see the tie-ins, but they also seem a little bit weak to me in certain senses.
They're very loose. They're loose threads. And again, I'm just not loving these Imagineers. They're just not tight.
I'm waiting to see how it all comes together. I have hope that it'll work and that it will tie in with the overall theme of the entire Grand Floridian, which has modernized to a degree while still remaining with that classic Victorian elegance that they are built around. So I'm happy with the renovations, and if they can keep the restaurant sort of in theme with that, I think that would be a good avenue to go down.
All right, now let's talk about what to wear, because a lot of the fun of character dining is the costuming, not only for the characters but for
Costuming.
you, especially if you have kids, right? Like, not that you're going to dress up as Prince Ali or Cinderella, but what would you suggest would be good things to consider for styling yourself for the grand reopening of 1900 Park Fair?
Personally, I'm going to go with a little bit of a minor amount of Disney bounding, taking inspiration from these main characters, specifically mostly the Prince Ali look being white and gold, I think is sort of a central theme, especially with Cinderella's ball gown being like a really pale blue, almost white, and same thing with Tiana's Bayou Adventure look. Her dresses are like paler, almost on the white spectrum a lot of the time. So I think going with the white and gold would be classic. It fits in with a lot of the characters. It's not necessarily dressing up if you don't want to go in a full princess ensemble, but it still fits with what would be appropriate to a meal of that sort of level and also at the Grand Floridian.
Okay, now what about someone like me? So I'm just your average dad, and I don't like to. I like Disney stuff, but I don't go bounding like you do. And
I wouldn't say it's Disney bounding. I would say it's choosing a color scheme.
Okay, so what would someone like me, who typically wears, just for those listening, the moms and dads who care, or adults who care, I normally wear shorts and t-shirts or a button-up short sleeve shirt around. So what would my vibe be for this? What are you going to make me wear, in other words? I want to know now.
What am I going to make you wear? Well,
or someone like me, because I know I'm not alone out there.
I would say this is a mid-ish tier restaurant. It's not quick service, so I would maybe show up in like a golf shirt, something with a collar. I don't think suit jackets are necessary here.
Yes, no.
I don't think
There's only one place where that's necessary. And it's upstairs.
Yeah. I'm just saying maybe a white shirt, if you have a white golf shirt, even a button-up with a collar that has a touch of white somewhere would be nice. Really, nothing too fancy, just more the color schemes of pale colors and whites and golds I think are going to be prevalent.
All right, so I can get away with black or blue shorts, and I have a lot of sort of my button-up shirts that are white with blue. So you're saying that would be okay. Sort of a little bit nice, but not like, well, nothing that they wouldn't allow really anyway. They don't like a lot of ripped shirts, especially at the Grand Floridian. I mean, come on. We see people coming into the Grand Floridian at Christmas, and it's like, can you put a little bit of effort into what you're wearing, please?
I'm more like to dress up, even if it's not necessarily calling for a dress up. I always like to put in a little bit of effort personally, especially when going out to dinner. It doesn't really matter. I could be at, McDonald's and I still be wearing a nice dress. So.
And even, it's easy for the younger ones always, especially if there's princesses involved and they want to wear a princess dress of any kind. It doesn't have to be the princesses there. One thing I love about the Disney princesses at any of these meals, they really sort of appreciate any princess dress. I mean, obviously they like it when you're wearing the one they're wearing, but they really appreciate, oh, you're my friends, Snow White or whatever, if it's Cinderella talking. We see a lot of that stuff. So, yeah. For little ones, it's easier. For us older ones, if you want to get into it a little bit, put a little effort in. These are some tips, I suppose.
Personally, I've had the experience of being forced into princess wear at this restaurant. So
that was when you were there for the first time and you were like 2 years old.
Now,
or maybe 3.
I had the most adorable matching purple set, but some people felt that a Cinderella dress was more appropriate. So yes. I would say
Amelia put it on over top of, but we have some classic pictures from that dinner.
I would say kind of come to a compromise with your children and their style would be something. If you care a lot about photos and style, maybe focus on yourself. Kids can be stubborn. Pick your battles.
Now, the other big news that has come out, you mentioned it off the top, and I love this. The Disney wedding gown collection. Yeah, it was great. We talked about it last week, but now the villain ones came out in black, and there's 4 of them. And I'm not going to wear a wedding gown, but I think these are awesome. What's your take on the black Disney wedding gowns?
You know what? I think black wedding gowns, I could be totally wrong on this, but just based on my observations, are actually on the rise. I think I'm seeing more and more of that sort of different look, or people going with a bright color, which I love. If that's something that you want to do to stand out at your wedding, for sure, go for it. These gowns also do come in ivory.
Yeah, which I think is
Even
a
though
hedge. Like, that sort of
They're
annoys me.
advertising them
Come on,
as
Disney.
black gowns.
You've already got the sort of white light wedding gown collection. If you're going villains, go all the way. I do. So first of all, if you didn't hear this news somehow, there's 4 villains involved: Maleficent, Ursula, the Evil Queen, and in a villainous twist, Jafar. Now, this is not a men's sort of classically men's tuxedo type of look. It is
all of these are still very much gowns with skirts and everything.
They describe it. I don't really know. Like they take this plunging sort of V neckline that Jafar has on his outfit. That's incorporated into it, but it does not look masculine. It does look less overstated. It's less sort of gaudy and not gaudy, but overdone with detailed work than the other 3.
Yeah, the villainous dresses have, I would say, a little bit of a different cut than the regular princessy dresses. There's more fit and flare or mermaid style, which I didn't see a lot of in the traditional Platinum collection and Fairy Tale collection from this year. Like, for example, Ursula's dress is a mermaid dress that I was expecting to see on Ariel. It's more fit and fitted all the way down and then a poofy skirt at the bottom.
So you would almost like the ivory version of Ursula's dress over the Ariel version wedding gown, even though you prefer
Even though it's not trendy at the moment, but I was surprised to see Disney had no mermaid cut dresses or very little. So I was happy to see that they sort of incorporated that cut over here, even if it's not something that I would necessarily wear. I do like that they experimented a little bit more in these options to give their collection a broader spectrum of dress cuts.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some actual wedding pictures with these gowns in front of the castle and stuff. It'll be pretty cool. Just for the record, they are from Allure Bridals, and they start at $2,000 and up. So they're a little bit more expensive than the regular wedding gowns in the basic collection.
But hey, like we said last week, if you are having a Disney wedding, that already means you're spending $50 to several $100,000. So why not add another 2 on with this dress?
So we'll post pictures of these in case you missed it on our social feed. So check it out, as always, at 1923 Main Street. And let us know, would you wear a black wedding gown? Maybe I will make that the poll of the week. If you were to have a wedding, again or ever, would you consider going with the black gown?
I think my only thing would be I would want no one else wearing black. So I'd have to make it very clear to be like, I will be wearing black. Everybody pick a different color.
What would the groom wear?
That's a great question. I think it'd be interesting to see a bride in black and the groomsmen and groom in white.
Ooh, interesting.
I think that'd be interesting.
That would work. They didn't, it's interesting. They didn't come out with like a sort of tux collection because you can do a little bit with tuxes, right? You don't have to be just sort of traditional.
Could you share that sentiment with the men at the Met Gala?
Yeah, that's right.
Would you care to pass that on to Hollywood costume designers?
All right, everyone. That is the latest Disney travel style news for this week. Follow along, as always, on social media at 1923 Main Street. And check out the shop at 1923mainstreet.com. And you may even find something to wear to 1900 Park Fair. We'll see you again next week, everyone. Have a magical day.
Bye-bye.